Hey guys! First video podcast episode, trying something new. I'm really excited. Welcome to my studio, aka den, aka office. For this episode, I want to review my goals and my vision board that I made for 2024 and go through what I realized, what I accomplished from that, what I'm still working on, and then what I have set in store for goals and my vision board for 2025. Yay! Okay, so I use these planners. Last year, my friend bought me this. It's called Bloom, and it was for 24. There's a lot of pages you can go through with goal setting, letter writing to yourself, values, more of, less of in the year, your joy list, plan your goals for the year. So, last year for 2024 in January, I set my word of the year as bravery. And I made a mission statement that said, I will take chances, try new things, push myself outside of my comfort zone, and trust the universe. I think I did a pretty good job of that overall. I'm going to go into my high level goals and go through what I accomplished in 2024. So the first one is in progress right now, so I can't go too much into that yet, but it will happen in less than 2 weeks, and then I can talk about it then. So stay tuned. And then goal number 2 was to take a solo trip. So I accomplished that. I really wanted to put solo travel there to push myself outside of my comfort zone. And I love to travel in the first place, but just to really focus on where I want to go, what kind of trip I want to take. And I know I would realize a lot of growth and learn a lot about myself in this process. So what I chose to do was to go to this surf camp that I discovered on TikTok, and it's a chain all around the world, and it's called Dream Sea. And I picked the one in the center of Portugal. So the nearest big town is Porto, but it's about a 2.5 hour drive from there in a little surf town. And it was so fun. I knew that I liked surfing, and I had tried it a couple times here and there over the past couple of years, but this was a week-long, surfing almost every day. People from all around the world would come. I was one of 3 Americans in my week, and it was in July, around July 4th. It was really cool. It was a good type of trip to take as a solo traveler. I wasn't the only solo traveler. Some people did come with friends. There were a few families there. But some other people were solo traveling, and they had programming every day from breakfast, and it would be on site. So there was kitchen staff who would make breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we'd eat breakfast together, and then we'd split up into groups to do either yoga or our group surf lessons. And then we'd do activities, and at night there'd be a different activity plan. So one night it was group a group game, group trivia, or groups competing against each other. And then another night it was a volleyball tournament. One night we went into the little town and went to the one bar and just socialized. It was awesome. It was such a unique experience. So I'm really glad that I did that, and I would definitely do it again. Check, solo trip. Good job, Lauren. Then I told myself how proud of myself I was, because self-talk is important. Okay, another one of my big goals for 2024 was to start a podcast. And I started this podcast almost a year ago. In February of 2024, I put out the trailer, and then it took me a little while to put out the first episode, but I've been thinking about doing this for a while, and I finally took the leap and did it, and I've been really enjoying it, and I've been wanting to devote more time and energy to it. So I'm really proud of myself for starting it. I've gotten good feedback. It's allowed me to have incredibly deep, meaningful conversations with friends and different people who are part of my life. And it's allowed me to have a positive impact on others' lives and hear feedback from others that is really meaningful, and to hear that I've either inspired them to look more into something about themselves, or learn something about themselves, or feel less alone by hearing someone else's story. It's really rewarding, and it's an honor to be a recipient of that feedback, and it's part of the reason that I do what I do. And I've gotten good advice from different people, and I've taught myself new things like editing and producing a podcast. And now I'm trying video, and I got a Spotify for Creators Wrapped. So I got my regular Spotify Wrapped, which I love. And then now that I'm like producing a podcast, I got a Spotify for Creators Wrapped, and that was really cool to receive. And then also like tips from them on how to grow. So that's been really cool. And I intend to produce even more episodes this year. And even at the end of the year, my family, for Chrismica, they made merch with my logo on it. So the Naked Truth logo, they put on a sweatshirt, and they surprised me, and they all got themselves one, and then they got me one, and they came down wearing it as a surprise, and they gave me mine, which was so meaningful. It was so nice. So I'm excited. I might make merch. If you're interested, let me know. So, my fourth big goal of 2024 was to move out of my old apartment. So, for those of you who know, I was living in an English basement in DC, and it was great. It was a great location. Didn't love my landlord. Didn't love the English basement life. Dealt with some cockroaches, some grossness in there. It was kind of difficult living alone, definitely an adjustment. At first, I really hated it, and my anxiety was like through the roof, and I was really depressed. So just thought spirals, negative thought spirals were common, and I had a lot of time to myself. And then as I lived in DC and joined different like social sports leagues or just put myself out there, did different hobbies and met new people, then I started to have more social plans and make more meaningful connections and build friendships and whatnot. So then as I grew, I learned to like living alone more. But I think working full time remote, and I wasn't really going into the office that much, it was quite isolating. So I did make plans to move, and I moved in June of last year. I found a high rise apartment building, still in DC, in a different neighborhood, with a roommate. And I made the decision to move in. The rent is a lot cheaper because I'm sharing it with someone. Having a roommate and living in an apartment building with a lot of other people around my age is really cool. I feel more social or more like integrated into society. And I go in the office like once a week currently. But I don't feel as isolated as I did before. I like having like at least another human around in my space, and I really like the space. It's a good size. It's a corner unit. It's on the 10th floor, which is so much different than the English basement. My views are incredible. I have friends in my neighborhood, and sometimes we'll take neighborhood hot girl walks. Okay. And then my last big goal of 2024 was going to more dance classes. So I did say aim for at least one a month. I'm not totally sure if I got to the one a month. I did go to more dance classes. I did go to different dance classes in the area. Like I went to one at GW by their hip hop team, Capital Funk. That was really fun. I think I went to like workout. I went to workout Zumba classes. So in at Vita, I've been to their like Zumba dance classes. I've definitely been more invested in doing TikTok for cardio or learning TikTok dances just for fun, because those are really fun, and it's honestly like a mini dance class, a mini solo dance class, like just by itself. So I've definitely learned to incorporate that more. And honestly, if I think about it, I just really love dancing. So I hope to do more in 2025. Okay, so in my vision board for 2024, which maybe I should have shown for a visual with my goals earlier, so my goals I wrote down in my Bloom planner, but then the vision board was just more so like a modge podge of different images that represented my goals at a high level, or like the mood for 2024. So I had choose your own path to happiness, and this was for different reasons, just more so like breaking out on my own, not following, just inspire me to not follow the norms of society, maybe some solo travel. This one was also like about travel. It says she was in the mood for adventure. always in the mood for adventure, love traveling. This was about the solo travel. Independent spirit was about multiple things, including the solo travel and starting my own podcast and kind of just like breaking out in a new industry to myself. Anyway, boss energy, starting my own podcast and growing it out into a business and embodying the CEO that I've always had in me. Because you're worth it. Also, Beyonce for boss energy. Also, people having the time of their lives jumping off a boat into the water on vacation. Obviously, I love those vibes. That girl, embodying that girl energy. Imagination, not limiting myself, allowing myself to imagine and daydream and make those dreams come true. Passion, following my passion and purpose in life. Books, to read more books. I actually did read 10 books in 2024, which is a lot for me. I read 5 books the year before, and I made a goal this year to read I made a goal in 2024 to read 10 books, and I accomplished that, and I think I upped the goal this year to like 11 or 12. So now she's a reader. She's a reader. She's a reader. Love it. If you have any book recs, send them my way. I just like the vibes. Honestly, of these two, I just like the vibes, so I added them. And then this was manifesting wealth and money. And this tiny little thing, it has a significant meaning, but I'm not going to disclose that yet. Yeah, so I'm really proud of what I did accomplish in 2024. Another thing I really like about the Bloom planners is that at the beginning of each month, they have this goals section and they broke it up. So, like for January, well, for every month, they broke it up into personal growth, relationships, health and fitness, family and home, work and school, or work or school, finances, fun and adventure. And then they gave you 2 open boxes to set your own categories if you want. One of mine was a portfolio. So, as a UX, UI designer, product designer in my day job, I wanted to build out a portfolio of my own work. And that's something that is common across the industry for designers to have to showcase and display their work and also to apply to new jobs. And then this, which used to be called, this was for my podcast / Instagram content creation / overall mental health business. The Instagram used to be called Mindset. Now I changed it to The Naked Truth to align with the podcast and its brand and just kind of align the brand as a whole. So yeah, every single month I would write goals. I would break them into steps, like 1 step per week. I didn't accomplish all the goals. I mean, it was a lot. I didn't accomplish all the goals in any month. I did make progress, and some months I would accomplish some, and some months I would accomplish more than others. In the summer, I was just living my best life and traveling a lot, so I didn't even set goals in like July and August, I think. But it definitely helped me break things down and make action plans to accomplish each of my higher level goals. And then at the beginning of this planner, they had you rank where you were in each of the categories out of 10. So 1 being like not performing so well in that category, with 10 being performing the best in that category, and it's all like subject to your own opinion. And then at the end, it has this, again, year of growth, and you take time to reflect and rank yourself in these areas of like where you think you are at the end of the year. And it was really cool to compare to the beginning of the year to see how much I've grown. So the areas, again, are personal growth, relationships, health and fitness, family and home, work / school, finances, fun and adventure. And then you can input your own categories, but as my 1 additional category, I put side hustle, which is this. Welcome to my side hustle. So yeah, let me see where I started and where I ended. This is very fun for me. And if you also think this is fun, we're similar. So at the beginning of 2024 for personal growth, I ranked myself at a 10. And I said, I feel like I'm growing so much and really learning more about me in therapy. And I continued therapy throughout the year. And at the end, I ranked myself as a 10 in personal growth because I've been making lots of progress in therapy. Solo travel allowed me to grow. At the beginning of 2024 in the relationships category, I ranked myself as a 6. And I said I have quality friends, but feel like I can build those relationships more. I'm not doing so hot in the dating area. And then at the end of the year, I ranked myself a 9, saying I've built deeper friendships and found a romantic interest that I'm exclusively seeing. In terms of health and fitness, at the beginning of the year, I ranked myself an 8. My overall health is good. I'm managing my mental health and I work out regularly, but could be more disciplined in that. At the end of the year, I also ranked myself an 8 in health and fitness. I said I'm generally active and staying in shape, but not consistent. And I eat pretty well, but there could be improvement. And then in terms of family and home, at the beginning of the year, I ranked myself a 9. I said I feel like I have a good relationship with my family and see them a lot. At the end of the year, I ranked myself a 10. I said I have a close relationship with my core family and they support me a lot, and especially with the podcast. For work/school, at the beginning of 2024, I was on a different project and I was not loving it. So I ranked myself a 3. I said I'm not loving my job and trying to switch projects. I'm bored and stressed and isolated. I still find design interesting though. At the end of the year for work/school, I ranked it an 8. I said I found interesting projects this year because I've had multiple. I just got a big award and recognition, and I made a solid plan for my career moving forward. Censor. Anyway, for finances at the beginning of the year, I said a 10. I'm making and saving a lot of money. My 401k is doing well, and I have room to play. And then I also ranked myself a 10 at the end of the year. Go off, sis. For finances, I'm in a really good place in terms of savings and retirement and no debt, which is largely in part due to my parents. So I know you're watching, Mom and Dad. Thank you so much. And then myself being cost conscious and saving as well. And then for fun and adventure, at the beginning of the year, I ranked myself a 7. I do make fun plans and travel and try new things, but I feel like during the week, my life isn't fun. And then in terms of fun and adventure at the end of the year, I progressed to a 9, and I said I've traveled a lot this year, made fun plans on weekdays and weekends, and saw lots of live music. We love that. And then at the beginning of the year, in terms of side hustle, I ranked myself a 5. I said I walk a dog on Rover a few times a week. I'm also creating lots of content and staying consistent with the Instagram account, but I don't have a big following or monetization for that account yet. And at the end of the year, in terms of my side hustle, I ranked it an 8, so growth there. I said Rover is no longer, I'm not currently walking any dogs, but if you have a dog and you want me to walk him or her, hit me up. Anyway, Rover is no longer, but I've grown my podcast, changed the Instagram to be consistent with the brand, made a business email, and running a monetization experiment, which was my vision board workshop this year on January 5th, which went really well. And I'm really grateful for how it went and for everyone who came out and supported me and was vulnerable and shared their thoughts and goals and feelings and fears. So I'm excited. I think I'm going to do more workshops, whether it's vision boarding or other workshops. I can do them in person and or virtually. So if you're interested, definitely hit me up. You can email thenakedtruthpod0@gmail.com. And then there's 2 sections at the end of this planner at the end of the year that I reflected on. And one is lessons I learned. And I said, business is business and you have to look out for yourself. I can make money from my podcast and my business as a whole. And then how to improve, continue to put myself out there and build relationships, wake up earlier without snoozing my alarm, and be consistent working out. And then how I will remember 2024, I'll remember it as a fun and transformative year. So I got a bigger and better Bloom planner for 2025. This is it. She's beautiful. I got it off Amazon. Bloom, Bloom. And if you work at Bloom and you're listening to this, sponsor me. So for 2025, my word of the year is empowered. And my mission statement is I will master my thoughts, visualizing positive outcomes, speaking kindly to myself, encouraging my potential, and being my own biggest supporter. I will not give power to my inner critic. Where attention goes, energy flows. Dream big. And a lot of this was inspired by a quote that Roxy Nafusi put out on her Instagram. So I still have to fill in some of the goals, but I did make a vision board actually at Roxy Nafusi's virtual webinar, which some of you have seen, but here it is. And you'll see a lot of similar themes like passionate, so still following my passions, boss, still being a boss bitch, embodying that CEO energy, Rihanna, CEO energy, innovation with this rocket ship. I actually do this at work, and I want to continue to do it with my own business and with my podcast. Travel will never stop. I love to travel. So suitcases, lots of traveling, beach, maybe another surf camp this year, running in the water with friends. TBD on the surf camp. We're figuring that out now. But more of what matters. A girl's gotta walk. So this is like exercise, maybe more hot girl walks once it gets warmer in the neighborhood. This is like more giggling, just laughing overall this year. London. I want to visit my friend in London, Becca, if you're listening. Hey, girl. See you soon. Yeah, I wrote like more detailed goals in the back, but something I'm working on, I guess, in terms of different areas of my life. So, career for 2025, I want to wake up excited. I want to embody my CEO and entrepreneur energy. And I just want financial freedom. Personal growth, I want to give less fucks about others' opinions. That's something I've been working on for a while, and I think it happens with age, but I am actively and intentionally working on that. Consistent exercise routine, at least 3 days a week. And this is a big one. Stop snoozing my alarm and give myself more time in the morning so I'm not rushing. For romance, I wrote down experience mature love, feel safe and supported. I want to be with someone who inspires me to be better every day. So I'm manifesting that. And then another category, travel and friendship. I want to show up for friends when they need me. I want to make an active, concerted, intentional effort to do that. I want to hang out with people who inspire me. I want to visit my friend Becca in London. And just a lot of other travel things. Maybe go to a new country that I haven't been to yet. And ideally do another surf camp. That's what's in store for 2025. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. As always, if you have ideas or questions, you can contact me on Instagram. It's the naked truth, all lowercase, .pod. Again, the email is thenakedtruthpod0@gmail.com. And I'm excited. I'm excited to ramp up the energy. I'm excited for more interviews. I'm excited for more solo episodes. And I'm excited to create more of that community in 2025. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you on the next episode of The Naked Truth.